Okay. All right. You guys can hear me now. Cool. I'm telling you, man, every time that I start a live stream, there's always something going on with the mic and stuff, that's just because of like, what do you call it? That's the life of a live streamer, I guess. So probably should turn this on. All right. So originally I wanted to go live to talk about Bullet Club and Impact and other wrestling stuff, but of course, first I have to really how can I say this? I think I gotta change Raid Shadow Legends because I'm not doing Raid Shadow Legends at the moment. Which, by the way, that was a successful sponsorship that I got. I still am thankful for Raid to be sponsoring myself, the live streams and just the overall content that I put out there, because I put out a lot of content, a lot of original content with very what do I want to call it? I'm very straightforward with my stuff. I'm very opinionated. I said this last time. I'm always going to be opinionated no matter what. If I side with somebody with my opinion, it's my opinion. But first, I want to say that, a friend of mine who's also another podcaster, and I've been on his podcast, a couple of times. I want to give a shout out to Duke. Because Duke is definitely right. I usually end up getting, a lot of heat for some stupid reason for having an opinion. And Duke is like, he never really wants that heat from me. But I told him that, I make amazing dinners. So, the heat is totally okay. I'm okay with, getting burned in the kitchen. I have no problem with that. I've got burned many times in the kitchen. Even like, accidentally cut myself in the kitchen. So, getting heat from other wrestlers is totally okay. And you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Again, guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, you guys should be following me on Twitter. It's @Maria_Shadows. I am not shy about it at all. Like, I love professional wrestling. I love that I can make or even attribute to having professional wrestling be better than it was yesterday. That's my whole entire thing about having a podcast. And by the way, I've been having a podcast since 2019. And I have over 5,000 listens. And that's still greater than like 2.0. So here's the story, right? I am probably going to get their name wrong, but I'm probably going to just say it the best that I can. So, as we know, Gabriel Kidd is over in the UK and he's doing some Rev Pro matches. He had an amazing match with Suji, and he has amazing matches even in his New Japan career. And I've always been a very huge fan of Gabriel Kidd. I had, talked about his matches on my podcast or in my archives, anchor.fm/Square Circle podcast. So, you guys can go listen to that. And I've always been like a champion, sort of, but that may not be the right word. But I've always pushed him to be like, get on the bandwagon now because Gabriel Kidd is so good. And after him graduating after being a young lion, yeah, he's that fucking good. And I wouldn't tell people to just follow a wrestler just to follow a wrestler. Like, no, there's like, I hold a standard up for like, a criteria for myself for like why I follow a wrestler. And then if somebody else is like, still trying to put in the work, I'll probably offer some advice. But back to the thing. So Gabriel Kidd showed up on Wresthings, which is like a take on like wrestling things, I guess. I don't know, but they are a British UK podcast, which is the whole entire podcasters are Black. They give their experience on the British wrestling scene over in Britain. And I hope I didn't butcher that whole shit. I think I really did. I think I butchered it. But they did a wonderful interview with Gabriel Kidd. And Gabriel Kidd was so heartfelt and real in his assessments, what he thinks, what he does, and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to say it right. Wresthings, they definitely put out clips of Gabriel Kidd saying his opinion on certain things. And one of the things that came up was Daniel Garcia. And so, Gabriel Kidd hit it right on the head. And I agreed with Gabriel Kidd's assessment of Daniel Garcia. And so, I am in support of the podcast, Wresthings, and also Gabriel Kidd. And I basically just, tweeted out, a couple of times saying that Gabriel Kidd is over than Daniel Garcia. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, like, do we really remember much of like Daniel Garcia's stuff in AEW? I mean, the only thing that I remember is that he lost to CM Punk. And the equivalent to that will be Gabriel Kidd taking on Eddie Kingston, but Gabriel Kidd survived a New York beating, which is like totally different. So like I tweeted that. I have my opinion. I even ended, my tweet with that Gabriel Kidd is going places and Daniel Garcia is still in 2.0. He thought he was smart to come on my tweet to be like 2.0 is better than any amount of numbers anyone listens to your podcast. And then I had to take a picture of how many listens I get and be like, what was that? And then he tried to do ratio, deleted it. And then he tried to say I fell off, deleted it. Like, if you're really going to come after me for, not understanding that it's an opinion, everyone has an opinion. It's not just me like talking shit just to talk shit. If I wanted to talk shit, I could do that, no problem. But when there's an opinion and facts to back it up, try to come at me with something better. And then everyone who is on the Daniel Garcia bandwagon really do like baby grade sort of jokes, sort of jabs. And I don't understand it, but I get it. It's cool. But then again, he tried. He failed. He really did. And you guys might be wondering, like, oh, this might not be a big deal. It really isn't. But just to point out the fact that, Daniel Garcia vanity searches for people that are not with him. And if you're not with him, he tries to go against you. And then he tries to bring his brigade to, try to ratio you. Like, shouldn't you be working on wrestling? Shouldn't you be working on your craft? That's what like Gabriel Kidd does. At least, he gives us glimpses into like, what he's doing behind the scenes. So that way we know like, oh shit, he's working out. He's hanging out with the guys. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing the training of like a New Japan pro wrestling wrestler and still allowing us into his life. But most of the time it's like he's fucking training. If you're vanity searching to try to ratio someone's opinion, that says a lot about you than like someone else. Like, cool. We all have opinions. We all have a lot of things to say. But like, this is so great and funny. I find it very funny. And yeah, after I tweeted that I got 5.5 plus K listens on my podcast, the Square Circle podcast, the same podcast you guys are listening to right now, hasn't said anything. He's more than welcome to jump in chat the same way that everyone else is welcome to jump in chat. We'll see what happens. But, he tried. I'll give him that. He tried. But I am always going to be on the side of Gabriel Kidd because, like I said, I've said it many times on my podcast, Gabriel Kidd is one of the best out there. Like, I tell people that he's going to go places and he's going places. And yeah, sure. Daniel Garcia, along with other AEW stars, can go and book themselves in other places. But like, how often does that happen? How often does Daniel Garcia get talked about? Not much. Everyone in AEW, I shouldn't say everyone in AEW. I mean, the AEW fans talk so much about these huge surprises. Those surprises that come in and get signed all the younger guys get overlooked and overshadowed. So we just had the debut of Keith Lee and Jay White. And Daniel Garcia is nowhere to be found. And yet they want to hop on my opinion tweet about me saying Gabriel Kidd is way over the Daniel Garcia because he felt salty. Cool, man. You know, just continue to work on your wrestling. And if you ever want, my DMs are open. And if you want to come on the show and you want to give your side and you want to tell Gabriel Kidd, you know, some things, let me know. It's up to you. It really is. I just like, you know, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I love talking about how to make wrestling better, how to improve characters and promos. And I think that's what you need. Because I still don't know your motivations. I don't know anything about you. I don't know what kind of character you're playing. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a ripoff of like Suzuki. That's the only thing I can think of, to be like, oh, well, Suzuki is stoic and, you know, he comes out, he beats the shit out of you and then he goes home for a payday. But, you know, I don't know what you do. I don't know what your character is about. I don't know your motivations because there's not much on you in AEW. Yes, you come out, you're a badass. You have technical wrestling. I love technical wrestling. I can talk and like break down a match better than anyone else. And, you know, you should probably get to know me because I don't normally just be like blinded by like star power. You know, I do sit here and break things down for fans. So that way, you know, they can understand the stories better, the characters better. I'm here to help professional wrestling and not just go along the bandwagon because that's the trendiest thing to do. I just go on my own accord, on my own drum. I do things I do things what I want. No, I do what I want, basically. You know, and it might sound like I'm angry. I'm not really angry. It's just not really frustrated either. Disappointed? Yeah, disappointed that, you know, no one can have an opinion. And this is what, you know, the internet wrestling community like talks about. This is what the other podcasters talk about, that like you can't seem to have an opinion unless it's not with the group that you're going against. It's like you versus the world. And then it's also like you're either with me or against me. Well, I can't be with you if you really don't show me progression and character development. You know, Gabriel Kidd went through the whole entire dojo system. And, you know, for the longest, I thought like, you know, Japan doesn't really cultivate character growth like that. But I was proved wrong. Gabriel Kidd started as a young lion, and every single match he had as a young lion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he grew. His promo skills grew. And then the moment that he came back and stood in that ring and told everybody his story, and nothing but greatness has come about it ever since then. You know, that's why I sort of praise and push Gabriel Kidd, you know, and I understand his motivations. I understand why he's in the business. I understand why he does the things that he does. I understand his fighting style, his ambitions, his heart. But I really can't say that for Daniel Garcia. And if I'm wrong, if you're in the chat, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, I didn't decide to do this for Twitter because, you know, the kiddies wouldn't get it. Adults are talking. So if you are in the chat, just let me know your thoughts if you want to. But again, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Oh, cool. I am so sorry. It didn't pop up. Did it pop up on here? Can I read this further? No, I can't read it further. Hold on. So this is a comment from Del Boy from Wresthings. Just quickly jumped on the show to show you some love. Thank you, man. Like, I appreciate that. Thank you for popping in to show me some love. Like, you guys if you're still here listening to this or you want to catch this on the replay, but you guys did like a fantastic job with interviewing Gabriel Kidd, and like, you know, that was really fantastic. And by the way, if I am mispronouncing the name of your podcast, I am so sorry. But I do think it's a very cool name, you know, and yeah, thanks for stopping by. But again, like, you know, those guys, you could tell like they're real. I don't know all their names. I just found them through this. And when Gabriel Kidd was also talking about, you know, when fans online are like, oh, these are the 4 pillars. These are like the 4 killers and stuff. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. He responded. So I did pronounce it correctly. Awesome. Because I don't know. Yeah, it's causing a lot of good stir, you know. But I always side with people who speak their truth, and I always side with people who are honest. And they don't want to hold anything back, because what's the point of like, you know, lying if you're not gonna like be true to yourself and be true to everyone else? So yeah, going back to that particular video of Gabriel Kidd saying that he heard online about like the 4 pillars and the 4 killers and all this kind of stuff. I was, you know, agreeing with him on there, and I don't know who it was, but it was on the side of where like Gabriel Kidd was sitting, and he was just like, he was saying the same thing too on like, you know, their podcasts and stuff. But yeah, you know, I really appreciate it when podcasters. Oh, okay, so it was Doughboy. All right, cool. So, bro, man, like I agree with you with that. Like, you know, I really thought it was kind of stupid to have like the 4 pillars. You know, AEW is going to be 3 years old, and automatically we're saying that these are like the 4 pillars, but yet then Tony Khan is still hiring people, still having like surprise announcements, still like bringing in people. Like, when's the last time we talked about Daniel Garcia? You know? Hey, Black Kyrie, what's up? Wresthings is a great podcast. There's 6 members on there: Doughboy, Lucha V, NK, Sam Blacks. Oh! And Anna Rafi and Labs. Okay, so for the past couple of weeks, or it should be months, I don't know. For the past couple of weeks, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I'm so sorry. But Anna Rafi has been like liking my tweets and like retweeting them. So I guess we have been acquainted. But yeah, so like, you know, I'm not, what? I am so sorry. Anafi. Anafi? No, I'm gonna butcher this fucking name so bad. Oh my god. So it's like Narfi. Anafi. No, because my brain wants to say Honorfi, but it's not Honorfi. You're gonna have to like send me a voice message somehow in order to like for me to really pronounce it correctly, man. I hate it when I mispronounce people's names just because like I don't want to be that person to be disrespectful in any way. You know, I'm trying my best here. But yeah, I'm close. Okay. So it's Anarfi. Anarfi. No, that sounds bad. Yo, that sounded bad. It sounds like I'm not saying it right. But yeah, but seriously, you're gonna have to really send me a voicemail or like some type of like, oh, I said it right. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Because like, dude, my ears, like, it just sounded wrong to my ears. It really did. It sounded wrong to my ears. But yeah, I am so happy that you guys are here listening to this. Because I just thought it was really fucking stupid. I just thought it was really fucking stupid that, like, I have an opinion. I side with Gabriel Kidd because I follow Gabriel Kidd's career and I want nothing for the best for him. And, one of my goals one day is to really like meet him at like a meet and greet, give him a hug and let him know that, he's worth it and like he's going to be like the best thing in this business. But I just think it's very like immature to like vanity search. It's cool to like have a social media feud, but if you're not liking what Gabriel Kidd is saying, then why not tell Tony Khan, hey, can you get in touch with Rev Pro? Let me go face Gabriel Kidd and let me be face to face with him, right? Like instead, he's coming after me and his followers are coming after me with baby stuff. Like, all right, cool, man. So, yeah, I think that's everything I have to say on it. I did extend uh the offer of Gabriel Kidd jumping in the chat. Oh yeah. Oops. I did. I don't know why I said oops. So in my head I had like Daniel Garcia's name instead of Gabriel Kidd's name. But I offered Gabriel Kidd if he wants to jump into chat, he can. If Daniel Garcia wants to jump into chat, he can too. And I also extended him if he ever wanted to talk about this with me live for all of you guys. He's more than welcome to. I don't know if he's going to do it because while we were having our little back and forth, he was deleting comments, and I'm just like, all right, man, cool. You tried, but my podcast gets like 5.5 plus K listens. So, that's still bigger than 2.0. It's there. The offer is there for both guys. If you guys want to come on and like talk, but then again, yeah, that's all I have to say because it's not really much. I can just say he tried. He definitely tried to try to start some shit, try to ratio me. But it's like, guys, you know what? For everyone that's here, right? For everyone that's here, I just want to say this. I am oh uh you should get on the Wresthings podcast. They recently spoke with Suplex, a content creator from TikTok. They'll take you instantly. You have great opinions. Well, thank you, Black Kyrie. Yeah, we could ever set that up. Like I said, my DMs are open. I already follow Anna Reed. Arna Reed. I'm telling you. Oh, come on, man. My internet. My internet. Go back up. Go back up. Go back up. Go back up. I hate this. So just everyone knows, I don't know if the picture is moving or not, but I am. Okay, cool. We're back in the green. I am on Wi-Fi. I'm not even hooked up to a wire. But yeah, Wresthings, if you guys want to, my DM's open. I'm currently streaming right now. I personally, right? I personally don't like to just throw myself at like any podcasts that out there, if you guys do enjoy the content that you watch and hear and see, and you love my opinions, my DMs are always open. I'm always willing to collaborate with people, but I'm not really going to just, put myself out there because I may not always be the right fit for, someone's podcast. But Wresthings, if you guys want to have me on your podcast, or if anyone wants to pitch my name, Marie Shadows, out there to them to have me on their podcast, then, let me know. Okay. For the life of me, I plugged in. You see this, right? This is an Ethernet cord. I plugged this into my laptop, and for some reason, it was on red. It wasn't reading the internet, and like it shut off the stream, I should say. So I don't understand how. I don't understand why. So just bear with me. I want to see if anything changes if I plug it back in. Okay, so nothing changes. Yes, it does. Okay, that's not what it's supposed to be doing. All right, we're all good. So look, on a live stream, you're gonna get me, Marie Shadows, 100%. Like, I'm not playing a character. I'm not. I am not like trying to get likes or clout or anything like that. Like, I'm just here being me, talking about professional wrestling because I love it. And I don't understand why the Ethernet cord is having a hard time. If I go back to the Wi-Fi, it's gonna have a harder time. This is just funny. It's on a Saturday, and like, I'm talking about this whole thing, and now I get problems. Man, because I get problems. All right. We're gonna try to continue this, all right? Because if not, I'm blaming Daniel Garcia for all of my internet fuck-ups. That's what I'm doing. And if you ever see me, like this, where I'm just like poking fun at somebody, again, I am not upset at Daniel Garcia. I'm just disappointed. That's all I am. I am completely like disappointed that we had to have that exchange. And he thought he had a gotcha moment. But then again, I'm really not upset at him. I am just disappointed. So like I was saying, I don't know how much of the stuff I was talking about you guys heard, but like me personally, I swear, man, I'm trying to have a live stream. Thank you, OBS. I don't know what everyone else is doing. Okay. Me personally, while I like to do my own things when it comes to the podcasting community and making my own content, I do go out and like collaborate with other people. However, I just don't really throw myself at other podcast creators unless like I know them for like a little bit. And I know that my personality and my opinions may not go well with everyone's podcast. So that's why I don't just jump out to be like, hey, let me be on your podcast. Unless like I've seen them and I enjoy their work and then I ask them, hey, can I be on there? Let me tell you this quick little story that's like not really wrestling related, but it's related to podcasting and how not to ask a podcaster how to be a guest on their show, right? So if you guys don't know, there's this app going around. Hey, J-Rob, what's up? There's this app that I found through another website. It's called matchmaker.fm. Matchmaker.fm, like basically it's a UK brand podcasting networking app and website. So basically what you do is that you sign up either as you want to be a guest or you want to be a podcaster. You can do both because I have both on my profile. And so what it is that it connects you with other podcasters where you could be on their show, they could be on your show, and then they're just people who just like to be guests and like to talk, right? So I've had some pretty good people, contact me and stuff like that. But me personally, I'm not that confident in my ability to like interview somebody. But after me doing the live stream with Morgan and John for Thomas Island and talking about how we will book Shane McMahon, I'm starting to get my confidence in there. And I'm like, yo, let's do some random shit and let's, be on the show, right? So there's this one guy who contacted me over on Matchmaker. All right, cool, J-Rod. J-Rod is at work and he's just stopping by. I feel like he works like 24/7. Oh, come on, I'm in the middle of story time. OBS. I'm in the middle of story time. Go back up, please. Thank you, OBS. Like, OBS be doing this to me when I'm in the middle of story time. So, this guest comes in and he's like, hey, I found your podcast and I would like to be a guest on your podcast. Your niche fits my I don't know, like what he talks about. And he tried to make it seem as if like wrestling has like a spiritual thing to it, and like it can, but at the same time it can't. So he gave me this long big speech about like, why he wants to be on the podcast when he doesn't know anything of what I do. And so I really asked him, what do you know about professional wrestling? And he said nothing, but I can try to, talk to your audience about like achieving their dreams, the spiritual aspect of professional wrestling. And I was like, spiritual wrestling, like what is this? So he gave me an example of that. If he's singing in the square of where like he lives, right? He basically like, he got over the fear. He wrestled the fear inside of him to overcome and sing in the square. And I was like, no, listen, if anything, right, you cannot have the shadow of a doubt any type of fear of professional wrestling, because then that's how, you get hurt, the person gets hurt, someone dies, someone gets paralyzed. Like you can't have that fear, So I told him this, and he's like, oh, thank you for the perspective. Thank you for telling me that. And, maybe next time he could be on the podcast or whatever it is. But he understood that, like, your feelings of like trying to spread your message doesn't always work on a podcast. So that sort of relates to me when I say I don't just go on anyone's podcast just because, or I don't push to be like, hey, can I go on there? If I get to know the person a little bit more and enjoy the work that they do, sure, we could collaborate. But I am not going to just be like, hey, let me be on your podcast when I don't really know much or anything like that. That's why I always say my DMs are open, talk to me for a little bit before like, we ever think about like, hey, let me be on the podcast or whatever. But yeah, that's just to put that out there. So again, that's going back to in the chat before Wi-Fi fucking fucked this shit up. Where Wresthings basically, Black Kyrie was like, hey, you should be on Wresthings just because of like, my opinions and like, wrestling and all that, that's great. Like I said, my DMs are open. So, why not? I don't mind collaborating. I also don't mind, having an opinion and talking about it in wrestling, because that's what I do. I'm a podcaster for that reason. And if like I said in the beginning of this live stream, if I am able to make wrestling better than when it was yesterday by helping you improve your character, helping you have character growth, helping you think outside the box, because, sometimes you got to think outside the box. If you're not thinking outside the box as a professional wrestler, then you're just going to be, pushed to the side and like be forgotten and stuff like that. Who are we more talking about in this whole entire feud between Gabriel Kidd and Daniel Garcia? We're talking about Gabriel Kidd because Gabriel Kidd puts on amazing matches. Gabriel Kidd, does what he says, and he's not going to back down. He's finally coming into the person that he truly needs to be. And I was seeing that throughout his transition of being young lion to graduating. And every single time I was like, yo, he's going to break. He's going to break. And guess what? After he graduated, that was it. It was like, a burden being lifted off of him, because sometimes in like the New Japan dojo system, they really do place that sort of you are a young lion. You are, representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. You have these disciplines. You really can't break from these disciplines until you graduate. And the moment that they graduate, bam. Another great example is Master Wato. And he relates to this because he was in the same boat as well. Like Master Wato was getting better and better and better, but I had never really like believed in Master Wato until like, only recently, which is probably like maybe a little bit of last year into now. And then Master Wato getting that victory over Desperado, like that's really coming a long way from from when he used to wrestle and like how he used to wrestle, how he used to approach matches and like always taking the pinfall and stuff like that. So like there's that correlation of character growth. Not many wrestlers have this like character growth. They think they do, but they really don't. Because if you're just going out there to wrestle, that's one thing, but if you really want, like, if you're really signed to a company, you got to make sure that your character is evolving somewhere in your career, right? You can start out as like, all right, so let's just off the top of my head fucking plan this shit, right? Because people think that, I'm just a podcaster and, I just, I don't know. I don't want to say I have shit takes, but I really don't. I have strong opinions. That's one thing. But people just think podcasters just, talk shit. So let's just plan this out really quickly, right? If you are new, right, and you don't really have much of a following, if you're like a really newbie wrestler, you could definitely start out as like a rookie, right? That when you start out as a rookie, obviously you're not going to win every single battle. When you start out, you're going to have your wins and your losses, but they need to make sense. They can't just be like stupid wins and losses. They need to make sense. So like, if you know that you're going against a veteran, to me, I would be like, yes, that is an automatic loss, but it's not going to be a squash match. It's going to be a really good match where it gets you over, and it gets over like your motivations and your ambitions and your frustrations, because you're going against a veteran. You're going against a veteran who's been there for like 20 years, 10 years, who's seen it all, who's been through it all, and they could definitely counter like the fundamentals that you'll, go after them with, because again, you're starting at a rookie level. And then maybe like 6 months in, because you're like, I gotta train. 6 months in, you change into, I really don't want to use the word like mid-card, but you get the idea. We're going to use mid-card for this like example on the top of my head. You go into mid-card status where you're smarter than where you were before, and you're able to maybe one up a veteran. It may not be the veteran that like you faced when you were a rookie, but it could be somebody else that for sure that you can definitely like take on. So you're in this mid-card phase, which is a really bad word for this, but for the sake of this exercise, if you're in the mid-card phase, you are smarter than what you were in the rookie phase, and then you're looking towards your future, right? And let's just say in another 6 months, maybe let's give that, 12 months, right? Because you have a lot of growing to do. You have a lot of obstacles to overcome. So let's just say 12 months. In 12 months, you should already be at the level of stardom. You're not a veteran just yet. It could be just stardom. And then you basically are smarter than where you were a mid-carder and a rookie. And now you're able to beat veterans and you're able to beat rookies. But sometimes maybe a mid-carder can get the one up on you because, that's how it can happen. But like something like that for like character growth of like, you start out here, you get people to love you, you get yourself over, you do a combination of technical wrestling and flips because, I've said this many times on my podcast, I am more of a technical person than I am a flip person. But if you have the right psychology and you blend them together, you are golden for this business. This is why we always say that Kenny Omega is one of the best in the business, because he basically takes everything that he knows, puts them together. Be like Kenny Omega. Other than that, like character growth. And while you're growing your character from like the rookie stage to stardom stage, you got to work on your voice. You got to find your inside voice. You can't just walk around with like a resting bitch face, let's say, and like think you're going to get over if you can't really talk in the mic, if you can't back it up. Like, there's reasons why people gravitate towards like a Gabriel Kidd, a Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Randy Orton, Jay White, Tama, Kenny, Osprey. And I'm only naming these guys because they could talk on the mic. And they could definitely tell you like how they fucking feel. And also push the story that they're trying to tell. And if you can't do that within like your career, then like one is going to suffer than the other. Sometimes wrestling isn't just about being a wrestler. That's like the main element. That's like the overall thing. But wrestling is the purest form of theater. It's the purest form of theater. You either have a script or you don't have a script, or you're good at improv and you're good at making your friends look like $1,000,000 and having us, the fans, sit at the edge of our seat in suspending our disbelief of like, this shit is real, this shit is great, and stuff like that. Like, this is why like I advocate for like a lot of different wrestlers to like be the best that they could be, you know? But again, when you have an opinion that goes against, you know, someone who doesn't put in the work as much, you get the backlash. But it's okay, you know, like I've dealt with heat. It's totally fine. Like, you know, I love this thing. If I didn't love wrestling, I wouldn't, you know, be talking in the professional wrestling world. And if I didn't love wrestling, I would have never made it to WWE. And that's one thing that like I wanted to do, was go through my accolades, because obviously Daniel Garcia doesn't know my accolades. Gabriel Kidd is too busy training, so he'll hear this on the replay, and I'll probably talk about this on Wresthings if like they want me to be on the show. I have not checked the YouTube comments. I should have my like what do you call it? Restream chat open. I should. I just don't do it. So let's see if anyone's there, and then I'll run down my accolades of I'll run down my accolades. Oh, cool. Okay, so Wresthings also said the same thing on my YouTube. That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're on the YouTube side, yeah, in the beginning of the stream, I really did say that when Daniel Garcia tried to bring his brigade over to my Twitter stuff, which, by the way, if you guys are trying to get a hold of me, I put that thing on mute. The biggest thing that people need to do in order to have like a very healthy relationship with social media is mute, block, and go. Because, you know, once people attach themselves to their idols, that's it. You basically didn't win at all. But this isn't a competition of winning or losing. It's a competition of just having an opinion. And it's not really a competition of having an opinion. Imagine that. But it's the idea of, I have an opinion, so do you. That's okay. I could just keep on scrolling. Like, I don't really have to get in on it unless, like, you know, unless, you know, you want to really say something. So yeah, that was the only comment over there on the YouTube side. Twitter is here. So basically, okay, that was weird. Let me run down my accolades, all right? I went to WWE in 2018. I was their WWE Network logger, and that was my, well, going to WWE was definitely my dream since I was 7 years old. And then, you know, managing to get my foot into the door, that wasn't really what I wanted to do. It was available, and then when they let me go, they did not want to put me into the writers department. I have been wanting to go into the writers department for years because I got my bachelor's in creative writing and I have a publishing certificate. And I also am writing a wrestling novel. This wrestling novel is not based on my life. This wrestling novel All right, good job, OBS. Uh, this wrestling novel is not based on my life. It is a fictional wrestling novel that you guys can read over on Amazon. It is currently on Amazon Kindle Vella. I'm trying that out. There are other places for you to read it. Just DM me if you want to know the other places. So, yeah, went to WWE, helped out on the indies as well. I was part of ring crew, taking tickets, setting up the ring, breaking down the ring, putting chairs around. If you're on my, excuse me, if you're on my YouTube channel, I have vlogs. I have fun stuff there. So, I have a lot of experience in the business. So it's not like, I just decided to one day have a podcast because everyone is having a podcast and, just to say what I want to say. No, it's not like that. I started a podcast because I had the feeling to want to talk, and talking is a lot more better than writing because it's a lot more in the time, in the moment, rather than writing. I write something, I send it out to people to read it. The world reads it, but then like no feedback. At least with like a podcast or a video cast, I get some type of feedback. I get some type of interaction. Someone is saying something in chat. Someone is either leaving a comment somewhere. So audio is a lot more faster than it is for writing. But I do have, some articles here and there. I write articles for, I write reviews for New Japan Pro Wrestling's new series Lions War. And that's been getting great reviews and stuff. So, I put in the work as much as the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys put in the work. But yeah, enough about that. There were other topics for me to talk about, which basically was about Bullet Club.